Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rafa Duke Page Guy channel. We're live here once again, and today we're actually doing a little bit of an unscheduled video. So, yesterday during Raw, I was texted by my friend, of course, my co-patriot, Mr. Simon Eichel HD, who informed me that he was tagged in a video by one Levi Mcintire Thrash Maniac 99. In his tag video, which he didn't tag me, by the way, he tagged like 4Minor Project, Simon himself, Kamikaze Games, Heel Steven, OK Fabe, and a guy from the NSA from the video game NASCAR stuff. I can't say the fucking name, so I will not even attempt it. And his question was, is the network hurting WWE? And we watched the video this morning, and the gist of what I get from Levi's point is that he feels that the network being as cheap as it is could be what leads to having less having pay-per-views of lower quality. Giving the example to last year having many pay-per-views that were subpar at best, the pay-per-views such as the Fastlane, Battleground, Great Balls of Fire, Clash of Champions, etc. He gave maybe the option of, hey, if the network was a little bit cheaper, bring it up by $10 to $20 in the States, would maybe encourage WWE to be a little less, give their pay-per-views a little more quality, if you will, to have them be better. And I get this view, but here's what I have to say. First off, I'm Canadian. The W Network is not $9.99 up here in Canada. It is actually more of a $12.99 last time I checked it, because of the exchange situation when it comes to Canadian to American to Canadian prices. And this just doesn't affect, network video games as well. Video games here, a brand new video game, for example, W2K19 will be sold here at $79.99 plus tax comes back to $91 just for the regular edition of the game. While in the States, it usually go around 59, maybe sometimes $69. So usually a $10-20 difference. So first, the idea of bringing the price up, just for the quality of the product, I think to me it's kind of a cop out. That even a cop out that WWE could say, using as an excuse as, oh, our reason our product's been lacking is because, our network, is not very expensive, so we're giving stuff to, we are giving you. We're giving you the product we feel matches the price, which I think is just a really expensive cop out, because the money that WWE doesn't make on the network, they take in other sources of revenue such as Raw, SmackDown. Lately, the attendances have been somewhat good, but it could be post Mania Fever. I think when we hit the post Backlash, it's maybe going to be a little bit more rough. But the money they make off the shop, with merchandise, they always come out with tons of merchandise. And you look on the shop, and they make a whole bunch of shirts for WrestleMania, from shirts just with a setting of the location, with shirts made exactly for big matches. Like they had a shirt just for Charlotte versus Asuka. They had a shirt for Roman versus Brock. They had a shirt for AJ versus Shinsuke. Hell, they even had a shirt for Alexa versus Nia. So now they have like bottles that, if you do extras, they have like these bottles that you can shake, when you brew your protein and all that stuff. And they're selling these bottles with logos of people, and they're selling coffee cups and shirts and coats and caps and skull caps and standees. You can even buy old Sasha Banks like cardboard standing things like I have here with with Danica Patrick, and over my shoulder with Jeff Gordon. You can buy a whole bunch of stuff on the shop that they make revenue there. So to me, the network is not really hurting WWE. It can hurt them in one space of revenue, you could say, and that's in the pay-per-view revenue. Because before the network came along, each time you want to watch pay-per-view, this might be a new fact for new fans. used to buy pay-per-views. You have to buy them on almost like you buy a UFC pay-per-view or a boxing pay-per-view, or even you can rent movies on stuff like here in Quebec, Canada. I'm with Videotron. It's called Indigo. Simon knows a little bit about that. Indigo, you can rent movies, you can buy events. I've bought UFC events with Simon on there where it's cost us almost $70 just to watch in high definition. It's like $50 to watch in standard definition. And PW pay-per-views are kind of around the same price. I remember wanting to watch WrestleMania 30 before it came here to Canada. The network came to Canada almost a year later. It came, I think, around January of 2015. And it came almost 12 months later. And even here, it's still restricted to basically it'd be either on your phone as an app, or being a channel on your cable subscription, whether which are with Bell or Shaw or Videotron. It's basically just a channel. We don't have the application, for example, in the States. A lot of people have the application on the computer or on the PlayStation or on an Xbox. We don't have that access on video game consoles here, because if we did, I would cancel my subscription on TV and I would get it on the PlayStation. It would actually allow me to just even cut off my second satellite box I have here, and that would even help me save money on that. But it's not here as an app yet. It's more of just of a channel. And as a channel here, I feel like it's done its job very well. And even Simon will agree with this. Simon's probably gonna do his video, later. I mean, I'm not gonna re-tag people because Levi already tagged the two people I want to tag, which was Chris, David, and Simon. So they'll do their own stuff. And David already did his video. The product we got on the network. Take out NXT 205 and the takeovers, and you look at the network exclusives. Series just such as Ride Along. I've watched a couple of the last few Ride Alongs. They're really fun because it's really cool to hear. It's almost like an unfiltered type of thing. Of course, there's gonna be stuff that they talk about that's probably gonna be left on the cutting room floor, and that's normal. But just that is just so fun to watch. Or Table for Three has been honestly one of the best series on there. And they're always coming in with new stuff. They have this new Something to Wrestle With, basically a podcast type of deal with Bruce Pritchard, who he talks about wrestling. The Stone Cold podcasts were dope. Even though they kind of shut it off after Dean went on there. Chris had two podcasts. He did, I think, with Stephanie and John, and those were fun too. And now they're bringing back the UK Tournament Championship for this summer. They're bringing back King of the Ring. They're having a second Mae Young Classic. So the network, honestly, to me, the network had to come at some point. It had to come because a lot of other sports are having their own exclusive channels. You have the NHL network, the NFL network, the NBA, I think it's TV, or NBA Inside Pass, whatever it's called. The MLB TV or MLB Network. The UFC has Fight Pass and has the UFC Network. WWE had to come at some point. And I think if you compare prices to some of those other programs, I think just to here in Canada, they're about the same. They're about the same prices. Comparing the network to, example, UFC Fight Pass, or comparing the network to NHL or anything like that, they're about the same price. So I really don't think raising up the price of the network will resolve your solution. And of course, it's easy to say that WWE has lost a little bit of revenue from the pay-per-view revenue they used to make, and that they've had situations with Dish Network, and that over the last year, 2 years with pay-per-view distribution, which has not helped them. But they kind of have thrown all their eggs into the network basket, and to me, I'm a fan of it. I don't think it is hurting WWE. Oh, hey brother, hey Simon. I really don't think the network is hurting WWE. I can see why, but and this, I don't know if Levi watches this video, which I doubt he will, because I doubt he watches any of my shit anyways. His explanation of maybe the network hurting booking decisions or even booking of pay-per-views, to me is a cop-out of some sorts, to not basically say that the reason that booking has not been great as of late, or booking has not been good for last year's pay-per-views, is because another situation which Levi has mentioned a lot is that last year we had too many pay-per-views. We had 2 per month almost, even though towards the end of the year we had 1 per month. You take last year's schedule, we had the Rumble at the end of January, you had the Chamber mid-February, and you had Fastlane at least early, even not mid-March. You had Mania early April. Then you had Payback, which was late April. Then May, early May, you had Extreme Rules, which was, again, the Raw brand, just like Payback was Raw, supposedly. And then you had SmackDown in late May. And then you had, what was the other ones? God damn it. You had early May was April, you had Payback, and you had early April, you had Mania, you had Payback, and you had like Backlash early May. Then you had Extreme Rules like mid-May, and then late May, early June, you had fucking Money in the Bank. And then July, or late June into early July, you had Great Balls of Fire and Battleground, and you had SummerSlam. And then September, you had No Mercy, just No Mercy. At least I'm pretty sure it was just No Mercy. That SmackDown didn't have a pay-per-view. No, they didn't. And then Hell in a Cell in October, then with TLC in October, and then towards the end of the year, they had Survivor Series in November, and December they only had Clash of Champions, and Raw was held off till the Royal Rumble. So, they're already going back to a reduced schedule, which is probably going to help the quality of pay-per-views, because now they won't have to stretch their stories so thin where, all right, this story has to start at Backlash, which is a SmackDown, but then it has to continue on Money in the Bank, but then it has to end also there, because then we have to get into another story because SummerSlam's coming up. So we have to have 2 stories going at once, and then one story ends to have the other story continue. WWE was really stretching themselves thin, and it led to poor storylines in 2017, and you could even point back to 2016. That I feel the quality of the storylines was going so bad that's what led the dual branded pay-per-views one each month on the network, starting with Backlash, beginning of May. The Sunday after Raw and SmackDown and WWE Montreal. Be sure to tune in for that, vlogs and all that stuff. Come on my channel and Simon's channel. I'm doing this plug because I know Simon's watching. You watch from work, brother? Where you watch from work? Go back to work. So yeah, I really don't think the network is hurting WWE that badly. I can see why people would see that, but I feel like it's been good to a lot of fans, because a lot of fans who don't get interested in the product of Raw, SmackDown can find a wrestling fix, if you will, in a lot of these secondary series, such as Table for Three, Ride Along. WWE should be on pay-per-view, but the product isn't worth pay-per-view price, nor is anybody willing to pay a pay-per-view price. Well, hey, yeah, you're right. Sometimes the pay-per-views are not even worthy of that $60, And just it's like I mentioned, Simon, earlier. It's like just the prices we paid for UFC pay-per-views. Sometimes it's crazy. Sure, we usually buy the pay-per-views that are supposed to be good. Like we bought 205 and 217, but $60 like once per month is crazy. Like we do it once a year when it's the Madison Square Garden cards. But yeah, so it's not, the pay-per-view market is gone for WWE, and that could have been the network that kind of killed it. But hell, I even doubt TNA did really good pay-per-view numbers with what was it, the last pay-per-view, Redemption, and they have Slammiversary coming up also in Toronto, so I doubt those are going to do good pay-per-view numbers anyways. So yeah, the network offers a lot of people a secondary option to, if they're not into Raw and SmackDown, for them to watch something else, to watch A Table for Three with Eric Bischoff, Jim Cornette, and P.S. Michael Hayes. Offers you to watch a ride along with Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman. And offers you to watch every 24-hour capture of Ronda Rousey's debut or of Raw 25th anniversary. or what's the other one that they're doing? They did a Raw Evolution for the Royal Rumble match for the Women's Royal Rumble. Um, you get to watch WWE 365, which honestly I love the one they did with Kevin Owens, which started from SummerSlam 2016 to SummerSlam 2017, and it followed KO as Universal Champion. Followed him losing the belt to Goldberg. Followed him doing his WrestleMania match with Vince, Vince not liking that match. That was really fun. Now they're planning to do another one with AJ, which follows him even with the match with Brock Lesnar. It's gonna follow him to the title win in Manchester. It's gonna be a fun time to watch those, and those are always a good second place to get your wrestling fix and to see what happens backstage. So yeah, I really don't think the network is hurting WWE, and again, no offense to Levi, and I don't want Levi to think I'm disparaging his comments, but I don't think you can blame poor booking on the price of the network. I just think it's the people involved themselves in creative decisions, and the fact that if you take last year for example, the creative storylines were stretched so thin and so badly over the pay-per-views, and even going back to 2016, that I don't. It's been a rough couple years, but I think with these dual branded pay-per-views, as much as it'll maybe suck not having as many superstars on the shows, not having like a Ziggler or even the Bailey or a Sasha on the pay-per-view, it's still not going to be bad. But we'll see what Backlash brings. We already only have 4 matches announced, which are all rematches. Rollins versus Miz. This one's not a rematch, and I'm kind of surprised this match is still official. If this match stays, even what happens Friday, I'm going to be happy. Hardy versus Randy Orton. That's one we haven't seen in forever. Hell, I don't think I've seen it since the Royal Rumble in 08. We're also gonna have the women's rematches. Simon's match he's looking the most forward to: Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss, and Carmella versus Charlotte just made official like this morning. So, yeah, they should call it rematch / But it's gonna be a lot of ending of feuds and beginning of some. There's also Reigns versus Joe, but I do doubt that will be for the Universal title, especially with Joe off the SmackDown. So yeah. So that was my reply to Mr. fucking Levi. That was my reply to his comments on, in his tag video. I know I wasn't tagged, but I still felt that I should reply. And, if Simon does his reply, he can, talk about my video, talk about Levi's video, talk about David's video. Chris is probably going to do a video if he even watched Levi's video. I don't know what Chris is up to as of late. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's about it. 18 minutes in. I got 2 viewers. If you guys got any other questions on this topic or want to hit me up with anything, go ahead. Not going to talk greatest Royal Rumble ever. I'm not going to make predictions on that. No use in it. Kind of feel it's going to be an oversized house show plus the greatest Royal Rumble match. We all thought they were getting nothing, but that ain't true. They're getting something. They're getting a fucking trophy. They're getting a fucking trophy. I do admit that trophy does look kind of cool. A lot better than the fucking trophy they gave the women. Like, poor Naomi having to fucking... At least they're not having her carry that shit around. But, yeah, I really don't feel any point doing greatest Royal Rumble predictions. I do think most of the champions will retain. I do think Matt and Bray will win their titles. The Raw Tag titles. And I do feel like Brock will retain the Universal title. Besides that, Alexander's going to retain his against whoever the fuck he's facing. Jeff's going to retain against Jinder. AJ's going to retain against Shinsuke. I doubt they're going to give Shinsuke the win for that night. So, yeah, I really do think that most champions are going to retain. It's really just a glorified house show. And if they do make changes, it'll just be to, make it feel special. But, they're not going to want to do too much also with it because of Backlash coming up. So, yeah. They're going on 20 minutes. I'll cut this out in 30 seconds. So we're 6 days away. I'm going to WWE in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It's about fucking time. It's 2015. We haven't gone shit. And SmackDown hasn't been in there since like 06 or 08. So it's I think it's '06, so it's fucking ridiculous. Almost 13 years. WWE hasn't run SmackDown to Montreal, and we're getting back to back. So, all right. So it's 20 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure to watch Levi's video. Make your own opinions on the topic, which is the network hurting WWE? Is it hurting WWE? My response is no, it's not, and we cannot use. To me, I don't agree with the assessment that the network price is hurting the booking. I just think it's just poor booking on WWE's part altogether. So yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the Ralph the Duke Page Guy channel. Like I said, next week we are heading up to Montreal, so get ready for vlogs of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live and 205 Live, all from the Bell Center in Montreal. And Saturday night, maybe, I'm not sure, you will probably get a Greatest Royal Rumble review, since I am watching the show at 9 p.m. when I am coming back home. The event starts at noon. I work at 11, and I work all the way till 9 o'clock. So I will not watch the Greatest Royal Rumble. So I will do a review maybe later if I see any interest in it. If not, I'll skim over it. Thank you for watching. Have yourselves a very good afternoon.